If I ask you to think about someone who is literate, who immediately comes to your mind? Is it a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, an associate? Is someone usually who has information and they know how to use that information. Now, if I ask you to think about someone who is illiterate, it is the complete opposite. You'll pick someone who do not understand a lot of things and do not know how to use the information that they do have. So literacy literally means the ability to be able to read and write. But when we're talking about literacy, we're not talking about just understanding how to read and write and knowing how to do those things, but we're talking about our ability to understand information and use the information that we have. So when it comes to financial literacy, we're looking at two questions. The first question is, do you have the information? And the second question is, do you know how to use the information that you have? Some people make poor financial decisions just because they do not have good information. And some people make poor financial decisions despite the fact that they have good information, they just don't have good self-control. Many people will agree that there is a huge wealth gap in America. And so when they look at the wealth gap, many people just look at the finances and numbers and say there's a wealth gap. But I like to tell us that there is not only a wealth gap, but there is a knowledge of wealth gap, where there are a number of people at the top that has the right information, knowledge. They know how to use that information and put it into practice. And there are many people at the bottom who do not have access to the information that the people at the top have access to. That tells us that there's not only a wealth gap, but that there's a knowledge of wealth gap. And that's one of the reasons why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. When we think about generational wealth, one thing we think about is money being passed down from one generation to another generation. But one thing we often don't think about is the knowledge of money that is passed down from one generation to another generation. There are some generations of people that their father and parents had money, and their parents' parents had money, and their parents' parents' parents had money. And not only were they able to pass along that money, but they were able to pass along concepts of wealth so that their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren will be able to benefit from that financially down the line. On the flip side, we have families such as the one that I grew up in that did not pass down a lot of knowledge about resources, finances, wealth, how to manage wealth, and how to grow wealth exponentially. And that's why we're talking about financial literacy, to make sure that we level the playing field so that everyone can have access to this great financial information. Let's talk about the benefits of financial literacy. There are many benefits to being financially literate. One of the benefits is that you're able to have great money management. I often ask people, what good is it to go to school, get a great education, to get a vocation or get a skill, go to a trade school and learn how to do something, to work hard at a job and get paid a whole lot of money, if when you receive that money, you do not know how to manage it. So money is not good if you don't know how to manage it. That's why people who win the lottery often end up going broke. But people who are rich and know how to build wealth, even if they had absolutely nothing today, then they could figure out how to start building wealth again tomorrow. So when you're financially literate, you're able to make informed financial decisions. You're able to make wise financial decisions. You're able to know how you're able to create a budget, how you're able to set your goals, how much money you're able to save each and every month, or how much you should be saving each and every month, how much money you should invest, where is the best place for you to invest so you could get the best bang for your buck and grow your money exponentially. So when you have financial literacy, then you have many benefits because you're able to learn how to make your money work for you. On the flip side, there are many consequences to financial illiteracy. That's why many people that make a good income are still living paycheck to paycheck. Meaning, if they miss one or two of their next paychecks, they won't be able to pay their rent or their car note or their utility bills. They won't be able to buy food or do the other essential things that they need in order to live. And so that's why it's important to have financial literacy, because when you are financially illiterate, the consequences could be you getting kicked out of your home, your car being repoed. It could lead you into bankruptcy. It leads you into all type of credit debt. It leads you into having a poor credit score. So there are many bad consequences to not being good with money and not knowing how to manage money. And that's why it makes it so important that everyone should know about financial literacy. It always amazes me that financial literacy is not taught in schools. People can go throughout college, they could get a graduate degree, you could have a PhD and know absolutely nothing about how to manage your resources. And that's just not right. That's why there's some basic things that each and every person should know about financial literacy. These basic things include how to create a financial vision, how to set goals so that you can live out your financial vision, how to set a strategy such as a budget so that you can actually reach your goals, which will help you live out your vision. While you're setting your budget, you have to know how much money can you spend on a car, how much should you spend on your home, how much money can you afford for groceries, or how much money should you spend in eating out. We should all have these basic concepts of a budget and know how to effectively create and utilize and stick to a budget that we have. We should all know how to manage debt. What is good debt? What is bad debt? What are good percentages? We should all know how to save money wisely, how to save for our retirement, how to save for our future, our homes, our cars, for everything that we want. We should know how to invest wisely, not make speculative investments, because you heard it through the grapevine that this may go well or that may go well, but you're making informed investments that help your money to be able to grow exponentially. You have to watch out for those sharks who are out there that are just lurking around seeking your money, just telling you something good so that they could get your money in their pockets. And we could talk about how to give generously. You don't want to give too much, but you do want to be a generous giver. You don't want to give so much to where you broke and don't have it yourself, but you don't want to sit there and be stingy. You want to be purposeful with your finances and with your resources. So if you enjoyed this video, then continue watching the videos on this channel, which is all about financial literacy, and I'll go over everything that I just spoke about.